Hi, I'm Ellen from the Chili Dog, and today I'm going to show you how to do the Channel Island cast on. I used this cast on when I knit my Riptide socks because it creates a decorative and stretchy edge with these pretty little knots up at the top. Even though I didn't use ribbing at the top of my sock cuff, this cast on also looks very pretty when it's followed by basic 1x1 or knit 1, purl 1 ribbing. One thing to be aware of when you're using this cast on technique is that it creates an even number of stitches. Let's get started. The Channel Island cast on is a type of long tail cast on, so you want to measure out a yarn tail that's about 3 to 4 times longer than your cast on edge, and then fold that tail in half so it creates this doubled yarn tail. When you get close to the loose end of the tail, you can go ahead and tie a slip knot. And you don't need that loose tail to be incredibly long, just long enough that you can weave it in later. We're not going to do anything else with it right now. Once you have your slip knot, place it onto your knitting needles and tighten things up. And you can see here that now we have 2 loops of yarn around our needle. That slip knot counts as our first 2 cast on stitches. Now let's get set up into the slingshot position. As I said, this loose little tail, just try to keep it out of your way here as you get started. The working yarn gets tensioned over, under the fingers on your left hand. And then we're going to do something a little bit different with our thumb than we normally do. We're going to use this doubled tail around our thumb, and we want that double tail to be wrapped counterclockwise around our thumb 2 times. So if you're looking straight down, it goes counterclockwise around the thumb 2 times. Now we're ready to start casting on. First, we'll do a yarn over by bringing our working yarn forward and over our needle. I'm going to hold this first stitch that we cast on in place, and now bring the needle up through both of the wraps on the thumb. Catch the working yarn as if you were going to knit and bring it back through those thumb loops. So now you can see we have 4 stitches there total. And I'm going to hold them in place just so things don't get away from me. Drop my thumb out of the loop, and then I'm going to use my thumb to tighten up that knot at the base of our last cast on stitch. So that's 2 stitches that we cast on. And let me show you the motion one more time. Wrap the doubled yarn tail counterclockwise around your thumb 2 times. Do a yarn over by bringing the working yarn forward and over your needle. That counts as 1 stitch. Hold it in place with your index finger. Bring your knitting needle up through both of the doubled wraps that are on your thumb, and then back. Catch your yarn as if you were going to knit, and bring it forward and through those loops that are on your thumb. Hold the stitches that you've cast on in place. Drop your thumb out of the loop, and then tighten up that knot that's at the base of the 2nd stitch. So now we have a total of 6 stitches. Let's go through the motion one last time. Wrap the yarn counterclockwise around your thumb 2 times. Do a yarn over by bringing the working yarn forward and over your knitting needle. Hold it in place. Bring the needle up through both of the wraps on the thumb, back to collect the working yarn as if you were making a knit, and pull it forward through both the thumb loops. Hold the stitch in place, drop the loops off your thumb, and then tighten things up. And continue on until you've casted on all of your stitches. Oftentimes when I am knitting in the round, I'll cast on an extra stitch and then somehow either bind it off or work it together with the first stitch of the round to minimize any gaps that may happen in this transition. However, that's not something that's very practical with the Channel Island cast on. So instead, I will use one of these 3 yarn tails that are going to need to be woven in anyway to tighten and secure this little space if it looks like I'm going to have a big gap there later on. I hope you enjoyed learning how to do this pretty Channel Island cast on, and if you did, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Also, subscribe to my channel, The Chili Dog, for more knitting tutorials and tips. Until we stitch again, happy knitting!